make sure this is going to start. Yeah, and make sure it's actually legit. What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is the Sports Dummies podcast. We are coming to you live tonight, a little bit late, but still live. This is a birthday stream. Not to toot my own horn, but I did cross over the 40 mark. Now 41. We got Matt and Mike here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about college. We're going to talk a little bit about a lot about the NFL. Actually, we still got to make our pick. Hey, there we go. How about that? You're a dickhead. And then you know. And we're just going to get right into it. So you guys have been on here for over an hour almost talking about nonsense because I kind of caught the tail end of it. Um, so
I
recap
did
what.
laugh myself to oblivion, by the way, Mike, because of Mike's ability to gain the lead in total touches, which I thought was tremendous. So yeah,
Okay.
so I was talking about touches and snap share, and he was talking about a different form of touching, and we laughed for
Oh,
a good 5 minutes to
of
tears.
of course, of course. That's all Mike ever does is touch, but it's not anybody else but himself. So recap us what you guys have been talking about, and maybe we can jump into some other conversation. We still got the top five to go over. So yeah, guys, why don't you go ahead and start us off with whatever you want to talk about for the time being?
Do you want to hit last night's game? We can start with that one.
Absolutely, we can talk about last night's game. Let's talk about the fact that I still hate Sam Darnold, even though he seems to be a pretty good quarterback in a different system. I'm about 99% hate. I've moved off of my 100%, but you know, the Cardinals found a way last night to get back into that game. So I don't know if the Cardinals made some adjustments and were able to get back into that game that way, or if Seattle kind of turned it down and went into prevent and let them back in the game. What's your thoughts?
Well, for me, Seattle's the better football team, coming out of the game last night. That's what I took from it. I thought they were the better team going in. And, things happen during a game that can change the outcome of the game, can give you a winner, give you a loser. But I just think ultimately Seattle's just a better football team. Here's some interesting Kyler Murray stats. I didn't realize that he's the fifth longest tenured quarterback in the league to this point. So obviously, this dude's been around a while. 19 and 32 in one score games. And over the last 2 or 3 years, he's like one of the worst quarterbacks in the fourth quarter in terms of QBR.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is when it goes to Kyler is that, and again, you can bang on his height, you can bang on physical ability, whatever the case. I think he's a super talented quarterback. But being a super talented quarterback doesn't mean you win with just your abilities. You got to be able to lead. You got to be able to, have the intangibles that make the differences so that these stats don't look so cute in such important spots. So I'm concerned. I've always been concerned. I've never been really an Arizona Kyler Murray guy. The one takeout we talked about was finally putting Marvin Harrison Jr. in positive situations. Get that physical man in a one-on-one situation, get him in isolation. I think he ended up with 22 and a half fantasy points last night, which I think he got all of them in the fourth quarter. And that's because they used him differently and in a better situation to get that kid some confidence and use his strengths. So I'm all on Seattle. I think Darnold played great. We looked at statistics where he's been so good over the last year and a half plus. Second in touchdowns, third in red zone scoring, all these positive things for Darnold. Different system too. So there's some good times coming ahead in Seattle, in my opinion. I think he's a really good, strong football team.
So let me piggyback off of you, and let's talk about the Mike McDonald effect. Um, so when he was with Baltimore, their defense was third and first in the league in those 2 years that he was with Baltimore. Without Mike McDonald in 24 and 25, their defense went from ninth to 31st. Okay. Now, now that he's with Seattle, Seattle is now 12th and fourth in defense, scoring defense, I might add. This is scoring defense. And without the past 2 years, um, Seattle had ranked both years 25th in the league. So it seems like Mike McDonald, especially on that defense and making that team a little bit more well-rounded, is the key to that success up there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you guys real quick. Good, Matt.
Sorry.
Good, Matt.
No, just real quick. Just comparing the two quarterbacks. Just looking at Darnold and then looking at Kyler Murray. One guy's a leader and one guy leans on physical ability and traits, and may not necessarily be that unifier guy, be that lead. Gets in front of the podium is like, put it on my back, like a Baker Mayfield type that you can get behind and everybody's behind in one direction. I'm not sure Kyler Murray's that guy.
I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit. I think Sam Darnold has found himself the last year and a half, year and 4 games. He's really efficient right now. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but the guy just wins right now. He plays really good. He's been playing solid football for sure, and he spreads the ball around. Plus, like you said, Chaz, Mike McDonald, he's improved that defense a ton. And, you talk about spreading the ball around. We know how good JSN is, no doubt about it. The guys put a good game last night again, 4 for 79. But they're using the tight ends, Arroyo and Barner. Walker out of the backfield. Cooper Kupp had 4 catches. Bobo, Thornton. I mean, they're spreading the ball around. They ran for 155 yards. They threw for what? Another 242. So it's a 400-yard night on the ground. I mean, overall on offense. So they have a nice combination going. They're 3-1. They look good. And they're probably going to be in the playoff hunt all year, and not for in division too, with how they're playing. So I think we're all pretty much on the Seattle train last night.
Yeah, we all took Seattle. I ended up losing the hook on that last night. So you both got 43.5 under, and it was 43 on the nose. So you guys won on that hook. But we all took Seattle. We were all on Seattle's train. Again, we can talk ad nauseum about it already, but we've already talked about it. The fact that we thought that Seattle was the better team. We were unsure of how Kyler was going to fare. He doesn't fare well with Seattle. He was only 2-8 in his career against Seattle.
8 straight losses for the Cardinals against the Seahawks.
And Murray's only 2-8 in his career, now 2-9 in his career against Seattle. And, up until last night, we were wondering where Marvin Harrison was this whole time. So I think it was a no-brainer at that point that we all took that team.
Sam Darnold right now, highest graded quarterback. Pro Football Focus.
Wow.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus has been wrong before, though.
Number 1.
Well, so Pro Football Focus they've rated Aaron Rodgers 31st. Aaron Rodgers is also second in touchdowns.
Right.
So
I know.
And that's the crazy thing. But that's the crazy thing about stats is that you can pretty much, depending on which way you want to go with what you want to say, you can pretty much have a stat to figure out what your narrative could be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So sometimes
in reference to Rodgers, what you're saying is he's 6 for 22 with 2 picks versus pressure. So if you're using pressure as a metric, then he's terrible. He's the worst in the league. Right. But again, he's second in touchdowns. And also, which I think is ironic, is the Steelers are like 4th in terms of red zone. So it's like these numbers, again, it's only 3 weeks. So it's kind of tough to really tell a full story.
No sample size, yeah.
What happens is you open one door and then you're like, oh, wait a second, that doesn't seem right. And then it opens another door and it goes a different path. And so you can start to tell stories in this, but it's not a full story yet overall, I think. So
I agree.
I took a lot of notes through the week. So when we get little like some slow times, we go through certain things. I'm going to just go throw out random crazy stats that when I tell that, we can talk about it or something, or certainly at least watch you guys shake your heads. The Rams, they've only missed 3 tackles this year, total. They keep track of this. Missed tackles. That leads the league by far in terms of the next closest team. So the Rams have 3 total missed tackles all season so far. That's the Rams defense. Something to consider when you're wanting to use Rams defense, waiver wires, whatever, season long, you're betting them, whatever the case may be. So just crazy, right? I mean, who would think the Rams are that efficient, or any team could be that efficient? But true story. Rams 3 missed tackles all season. Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, a little tidbit for tonight. I have the Virginia plus 7.5. They just tied it.
Yes, baby.
Oh,
rock and roll.
Matt, did you give us a team yet?
I could do it for you in a second.
Okay.
Because I was looking at perhaps taking Oklahoma State at home against Baylor, getting 17.5.
Oh, that line moved. I took it at 20.5.
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah, it was 20.5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 20.5.
You could have it at 20.5.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give it to you at 20.5. So me and you are riding the Oklahoma train.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, cool. All right, so back to more crazy shit. God, I got so much notes here. The Chargers, Chaz, are throwing the ball at the second highest rate in football right now. The Chargers. Now, the Chargers were a team we thought coming into the year, especially with Harbaugh, offensive philosophies, run the football. Losing Harris now certainly is going to add to perhaps this philosophy. But they're throwing the ball at the second highest rate. I didn't expect that. But obviously it's successful because they're winning games. We talked about the Najee Harris injury, and people were so kind of down on Hampton for a while, at least coming in, and he's had maybe 1 or 2 fumbles, but 7 targets last week for Hampton. And if he stays on the field for third down, there's nobody behind him. He is going to get the lion's share of this work for the Chargers. And I don't know, I think if you have Hampton, I think you're in a pretty good spot right now, certainly season-long leagues, knowing that, you rode a little bit of maybe a couple of speed bumps early, but this dude could be in line for a pretty big workload. So if you come back to more of a run philosophy, it helps him because he's the guy. So if he's getting 6, 7 targets a game out of the backfield, and he's getting the lion's share out of the backfield running the football, Hampton put himself into discussion for, top 5, 6, 7 running back this year, moving forward. So.
Yeah, there was another one that was getting pretty much 50% down, and I think it's Ollie Gordon, the second or third or however many I's are next to his name. But Ollie Gordon down in Miami with A-Chain, I believe that they're running neck and neck now. So
yeah, I think he had 7 carries last week.
Well, I think he had the same amount of carries as A-Chain last.
Wow.
Week. I think so. I think I read that. And their production, I mean, the both of them, they seem like they're a 1 and 2 combo, kind of like what's going on in Detroit right now. So maybe, just maybe, Miami's not completely dead yet. But as far as a fantasy standpoint, they're certainly not dead. They're fully in it, especially with their backfield.
This is an interesting stat. I'm sure we'll talk about the inefficiency of the Baltimore defense, how bad they've been. But in only the first couple of games this year, this has never happened in NFL history, where a quarterback has had a 140 plus QBR rating and has lost the game. Well, they've done it twice so far this year. So as good as Lamar Jackson has been offensively and as good as he is offensively, that's how bad their defense has been. And it's unfortunate they're 1 and 2. We'll talk about this game, KC. I'm not sure where we line up. I think Mike and I are leaning KC. But we'll be looking at a 1-3 start. And that's not where I don't think anybody had them. So, the irony of all this is that, what's the perfect world where the Steelers do get a victory here in Ireland this weekend, and we're sitting at 3-1, and we have a 2-game lead in a division, as bad as we are and as bad as we are offensively, we bang on them all the time. But that's a reality for us after Sunday.
So two things.
2-game lead.
Yeah. So 2 things. We've already talked about the Mike McDonald effect, right? So there's your answer on the defensive side of the ball for Baltimore. They lost that key piece. The guy behind the mayhem, the mastermind behind it all, calling the plays and everything like that, and getting their defense ready. He's not there anymore. So we can tell that now because they're just letting teams kind of walk all over them. We saw the first game of the year, 41-40, and just that's unlike Baltimore to let up those kind of points. Secondly, as far as the Steelers are concerned, we for the past 3 or 4 years, we've all been saying to ourselves, this team is shite, this team is shite, this team is shite, and they've come out with 10-7 records. when we thought to ourselves, there's no way that they're going to win with Pickett, Trubisky, and Mason. You know, we thought about that. And then last year, you know, we thought, oh my God, we're gonna kill this division with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and that was a cluster. You know, somebody dropped the ball there as far as managing and deciding on who gets to play there. I mean, you're supposed to be riding a hot hand and Justin was the hot hand at 4-2, and then Russell comes in and he again starts out fine, and then drops 6 in a row, and we're like, what the hell? This shouldn't have happened. You know, I mean, look what happened with look what's going on with him right now in the Giants organization. They went 0-3, and they're like, all right, you're out of here. Like, we're done. You know, so
But as bad our offense has been, we've been able to lean on the defense. That's not the case this year.
it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, and actually, I'll even go back to probably the second half of last year where we just, and you know what, screw it, the whole year. We haven't been able to successfully stop the run in a long time.
Oh, a long time.
And I'm not even saying like be a top 3 or 4 squad. I'm talking about like in the top half of the league. We're not even in the top half of the league and stopping the run. Like, what is going on?
And we haven't.
But that's a whole thing. I want, you know, whatever. It's just frustrating.
Well, listen, here's the problem, guys. And so we drafted a guy, Yaya Black, who's 6'3", 340, and they're playing him at defensive end. Yes, they have Keanu Benton, who's 6'5", 310, a guy who doesn't have the leverage like Casey Hampton did, who was very low, 6'1", 330. Your bigger guy should be inside. Benton should be on the outside. You're misusing guys in positions where they were drafted in. And again, this is Tomlin being Tomlin, thinking he knows better. If you put these guys in their proper positions, I think you do better. But again, It's coming back to him, Coach Radio, as I like to say. So, you know, I mean, hate to say it, but he ruins guys. You know,
the O-line has to play better for us to have any success. That's the bottom line.
Well, listen, this is a make or break game for number 77. This is Jones' make or break game. If he does not get it done in 2 weeks, we'll have a new left tackle. Write it down right now. If he gets tortured this weekend, we'll have a new left tackle.
Yeah.
By the way, they're close to re-signing Herbert's brother on the offensive line.
Well, they need to, considering the fact that they need help. I mean, didn't they just have another guy go down this past weekend?
Yep.
So, yeah.
And, Chaz, I don't know if you heard the news. Jonnu Smith popped up in the injury report today with a hip injury, and Jalen Warren popped up with a knee injury. So
yeah, I was going to talk about that when we got to the picks here, but yeah, Jalen Warren, Jonnu Smith, and JPJ are all questionable.
Yeah.
So, how about we just start getting into picks right now? What do you think about that?
You want to go with our top 5? You want to introduce that?
Okay, let's start with our top 5, and then we'll jump into picks.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's good. That works.
All right, so Matt, go ahead. This is usually your baby, so why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Well, our top 5 this week, we mutually all decided on finding players that we think are risers or players that are fallers. You know, guys that are in, you know, maybe have underachieved to this point for one reason or another. You know, players maybe have overachieved for one reason or another, but it's buy low, you know, buy high candidates. You can use this for your league, season league, you all are in, so you can take advantage of some teams perhaps that are panicking, that are 0-3 to start the year, or 1-2, and looking to make trades. So some of the players, again, rising and falling. So I'll start. I'm going to start with Ashton Jeanty as a riser, okay? We talked about it briefly about the Raiders game. We're sort of kind of, you know, thinking maybe some offense this week. He doesn't have a touchdown this year. And again, what's ironic about his statistics is he has more yards after contact than he has actual rushing yards, which tells me that there's 2 things going on. 1, the offensive line is not doing their job. And 2, he's being misused in those situations. So the dude's explosive. The dude, there's a reason why they took him with the 5th pick overall in the draft. The dude's a stud. Okay, they've got to get him in better spots. So I don't see in any other situation. Now, last week, something for this week, this is a little gambling nugget. First couple of weeks, I think he had 4 targets and 3 targets. Last week in the loss, 0 target for Jeanty. That will not be the case this weekend. They're going to want to get this kid in space somehow, some way. He's definitely easily 4+ targets. I think he has a huge fantasy game. I think he gets in the end zone. I'm thinking a huge scoring game, which we'll get to. I think Genty is a high low because I think teams frustrated from where they took him, expecting first round production, and he hasn't gotten nearly that level yet. So I think you can put together something and probably get him from one of the owners if they're struggling at this point, certainly in their season long. So I'm on Genty as my number 5.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with a guy who everyone thought would be probably a top 24 player, maybe at least a top 10 back. Chase Brown. So everyone knows the Burrow injury hurt the receivers and the tight ends. Everyone knows that. Well, Chase Brown in 3 games, 42 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown. That's all. Only 8 receptions for 43 yards. That was a good game for him last year. 8 catches, 43 yards, 93 yards rushing and a touchdown. It's not getting any better with Browning there. And like we've talked about for ad nauseum for the past 2 weeks, with a $10 offensive line, man, if you could sell this guy for anything, do it.
Yeah.
I would sell on Brown. The problem with Cincinnati, even though they have Browning, it still seems they don't want to commit to the running game at all.
The irony of Chase Brown is that his best performance came in week 1 against the team with the toughest defense in the league. He had 45 yards against the Browns. Now, Henry struggled against everybody struggled against the Browns. You do that. They're the best defense in the league. That was his best one. And after Burrow's gone down, where you would think they're going to be using the running game, right?
They're not doing it.
They're not. So it's Cincinnati. Let's just chalk it up to that. So
yeah, I don't understand the coaching philosophy there, but since Burrows went down, he's gotten less and less opportunities. So I don't understand what's going on there. So for me, he's a follower. If you can sell him in your fantasy team, go ahead.
Yeah. Or hope he has a monster this week and then at least you get something for him,
Well, good luck against that Denver team who needs a win. So
their schedule coming up is brutal. Cincinnati's schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
Good one. It's a good one.
So I think that even though we got kind of a fluke last night with Marvin Harrison Jr., I think you try to move this guy. I just think, granted that he is, I think, he's one of the highlights of that team, but they seem to be more focused on their tight ends in that scheme than they do their wide receivers. They're using their wide receivers to bail them out rather than typically their tight ends to bail them out on certain plays. But it seems like the focal point is more on their tight ends. At least it seemed like that to me. So I think that Harrison Jr., for whatever the reason is, doesn't really seem like, or maybe Kyler can't get it to him, or whatever the case may be. But maybe they're just not on the same page on most of these plays, and it's got to be a reason why Harrison is just not getting the ball or getting the looks that he should as a number 1, number 2 overall pick or whatever the hell he was, number 3, whatever the hell he was. I just think, as a fantasy manager, again, we had a fluke last night, but I don't think he gets much better throughout the entire year. Not that he's a bad player, but he's just stuck in a bad offense with a bad quarterback. So I think for that matter, you have to kind of scrap what you thought of him and go with reality. And the reality is, it's a bad team altogether. So I would probably sell on Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm going to piggyback on you, Chaz, just to throw out some stats for him. Through 4 games this season, he only has 16 receptions for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, Matt and I talked before you got on here about how they use him. He's an outside guy. He's not that total package yet where you can go inside, outside. And Matt made a good point last night when the ball – remember the first play where the interception occurred? He's afraid to go to the middle. The ball hit him in the hands. It popped up, interception. He's just not that guy. He's not his father,
I'm gonna argue why I have him as a buy low candidate too, Chaz. But anyway, that's interesting. Everything you said is right. I mean, I agree. It's not him. It's the way they're using him. And it's, again, lack of faith in Kyler Murray, lack of faith in just Arizona in general. I just don't know offensively who they've been over the last few years. McBride has 37 targets right now so far in the year. Harrison's got 29. They're two clearly the ones that are going to garner most of the targets. But you're right. They do filter it through the tight end. when Connor was healthy, they were using him a lot in the passing game. And now you're seeing Benson and DeMarcado get more involved. So they like to stay close to the vest. His strength was getting him in isolation, big guy, big player, make 50-50 balls. He'll get most of them. That's where they got to use him, like an A.J. Brown outside the number. So that's why I feel. But you're right. It's definitely, that's an Arizona issue for sure. Coaches have to make the players better. Put them in situations to make them better. And Arizona's not doing that.
Correct. I agree.
I'm on that track with you, Chaz. So now,
yeah,
I don't have any faith in him at all. So
no. And the bad part is anybody that's really paying attention also knows that too, especially in fantasy. Right. So right now you're just trying to sell the name because the player itself is not really getting what he should be getting. Right. So depending on who you're trading him for or selling him for, it may turn out to be a bad beat for you.
Okay, here's the question since we're on him. Who would you rather have moving forward? Marvin Harrison Jr. or Ladd McConkey?
Ladd.
Tough one, right? Super tough. Both guys. For me, now, okay, from a fantasy perspective, Ladd McConkey was taken in Marvin Harrison Jr. Ladd was in the middle second round, and Harrison you typically got like 4th or 5th. So you got a couple of rounds of separation there. So put that into the calculation as well.
Chaz and I the other night were kicking around some amazing stats that we pulled up, fantasy-wise points, but you wouldn't guess if we would have gave you 10 guesses who the top 5 quarterbacks were. Take out Allen and Lamar Jackson. You'd probably not get the top 6 or 7. You'd probably get 3 or 4
quarterbacks right now in fantasy for the year.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy for me. I already know. It's Daniel Jones. It's Baker Mayfield. It's Sam Darnold. It's probably.
We got a name for you. You're gonna fall off your chair though. Chaz floored me with one of them.
Hold on a second. Just give me a second. Let me see if I can just grab it.
We were actually laughing, going over these stats, going, "You have to be kidding me."
Give me some of the other ones.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, no, Caleb's in there. Caleb's a top 10 guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Caleb.
Yeah, he's a top 10 guy.
Yep.
How about Dak?
No, Dak wasn't in there.
I think Dak only has 2-3 touchdown passes this year so far.
The name that Chaz and I both were laughing about, you're not going to get if I gave you name 30 quarterbacks. Spencer Rattler.
No, hold on a second. I already pulled it up. That's one of my things for later. The Saints are throwing at the 4th highest clip. They're throwing the ball to 2 guys. They're throwing the ball to Olave, who's got 719 targets in the first 3 games. And they're lining up Juwan Johnson, who's the tight end, in the slot, and using him as a slot receiver. So you can use him as a tight end in most formats. But literally between those 2 guys, and I pulled up right over here, first 3 games, Olave's got 36 targets and Juwan Johnson's got 30. They're 4th in the league right now in pass attempts.
So what we went over is what we went over in our league, because again it's different for every league across the board here. But what we did for our league is that we went with best available quarterbacks right now, and that was
on the waiver.
On the waiver, right? So it was the top quarterbacks that put up the most fantasy points thus far on the waivers, and Spencer Rattler is number 2 on that waiver, and ironically number 3 is Aaron Rodgers.
And mind you, not in our league, most teams have 2 quarterbacks.
Correct.
Most. So that's the 12-team league. So
in all of my ESPN leagues, we do that team quarterback thing. So it kind of takes a little bit of emphasis on having a quarterback, because if you got somebody hurt, it goes down, you're covered. So most of all, we carry just the one. You're constantly, rotating a bunch. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
happens. Here's some crazy stats before we get to the picks. Who do you think's leading the league in touchdowns this year so far? Overall touches, reception, and running.
Touches. Who's leading the league in touches?
Matt.
When I threw the number out, Mike said, "I got that beat."
So Chaz, here it is. Number one guy in touches is Christian McCaffrey with 77.
Okay. Yeah.
77 touches in the first 3 games. He's on
3 games.
pace
That's
for
crazy.
Right.
100.
So, well, here's the other aspect of that. Good. Okay, because he got a whole year's worth of rest. So run his ass into the ground. But
That's what they're doing.
But in the same sense too, a lot of their offense runs through that backfield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's their guy. He's their focal point. You know, it just so happened that last year other guys were able to come out of their shell and really, make a spotlight and stuff like that. But obviously, we all know that when you have a good run game, when you put that as your focal point, it opens up a lot for your passing game. So,
Right.
I'm surprised they haven't been using Brian Robinson as much, bringing him over in that trade. Here's the snap share counts. McCaffrey was 91% snap share last week. Insane. Kyle Juszczyk was 34%, but they use him in spots. And then Robinson was actually down. First 2 weeks, he was around 25% snap share. Last week, he was down to 9% snap share. So he's going the wrong way. That's interesting. Basically, Kyle Juszczyk can't be the second guy. You've got to have somebody who can, they can run plays through. There's no way this can continue. I'm sorry. I know they get some pieces back, especially, the receivers and such, and Kittle comes back in a few weeks. So I'm sure as it progresses, they're going to have to let it go. But at this pace,
Yeah.
I don't think it's sustainable. All right, let's pick some games, guys.
Yeah, let's get into these games. We gotta get moving here. So the first game, what a lovely game to talk about. 9:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, NFL Network. We're gonna go live from Dublin and talk about the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are designated as the home team in this aspect, and they are the favorites, as luck would have. Oh, I'm sorry, they're the underdogs. I apologize. They're the underdogs. They're getting 2.5, which seems about right, and the over under is 41.5.
Well, I heard they just flexed this game out of Ireland and moved it to next Tuesday at 3:12 in the afternoon. They're going to play it on.
We're underdogs. The Steelers are underdogs.
Yeah, 2.5 points.
Plus 2.5. Okay, and 41.5.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go Vikings in the under. I think both teams muddy this one up. I don't think we've been able to stop the run consistently. I know Jordan Mason is going to get a lot of touches like he did last week, filling in for Aaron Jones. I have Jordan Mason. He was one of the picks this year. I'm high on him. I don't know. Again, whatever stats we're throwing back and forth about Aaron Rodgers and his touchdowns and how good we are in the red zone, whatever. I just think the offensive line inconsistencies are a continual problem. And I just have a little more faith in the defensive scheme of the Minnesota Vikings and the pressure they can create and the problems they can create for a guy that's 6 for 22, I mentioned, under pressure. So they're bringing pressure. That's not going to be something that we do not know they're going to do. It's going to be blitzing. Mike, interesting stat, one of the least blitzing teams in the league. You could change that this week. They could smell blood in the water and decide to completely go 180 because they've got the personnel. They don't need to use it. They've got the ability.
I don't think they need to change it. I think they can beat R5 with their 4. That's the problem.
It's very possible. It's just with scheme alone. And if that's the case, I think it's going to be a long day. So I'm on the Vikings. I'm on the under.
I'm with you, Matt. I'm taking the same thing. Minnesota and the under.
Wow.
I see like a 16-9 game, a 16-10 game. Like I see a very ugly.
Yeah.
Put it across the board, gentlemen. This is the first game that we went all on one team and all on one over or under this first time. So, yes, obviously, I'm going with the Vikings, and I'm going the under as well. Here's why I'm going the under. Let me tell you. Matt, you love weather games. This is a weather game. It just seems to be that every time that you're in Ireland, it rains. Well, it's going to be raining all day Saturday, and it's going to be raining Sunday morning. So I think that the field is going to be shite. I think this game is going to look shitty. And if it comes down to it, well, when it comes down to it, their front five has a better push than our defense. So they're going to run all over us, in my opinion. I don't think there's going to be much of a ball thrown because I think the conditions aren't going to be good for it. Not to mention the wind. The wind factor, I don't think is a big deal because it's only about 5 to 10. But I just think this is going to be a shitty game. And just for throwing out weird stats, the Steelers are 3-4 in international games, and the Minnesota Vikings are 8-0 in international games.
Interesting. And another interesting tidbit: Minnesota plays another international game next week.
Yeah, right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after. And we already talked about how Jalen Warren, Jonnu Smith, JPJ are all questionable. The only upside for the Steelers in this aspect is one of their linebackers for the Vikings, Van Ginkel, is out along with JJ. So at least they have a little bit to look forward to, but not much. The next game is going to be back into our 1:00 time slot. We are going to go in the NFC, both teams, Washington Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons. This is a pick 'em, 43.5 over under, but the Commanders are going to get a 1.5. I'm actually going to check that because that doesn't sound right to me, but
what I have here, I have Atlanta minus 1.5, 43.5.
Yeah, so that's it. I just said, yep, Commanders are getting a 1.5, but it's a pick 'em, technically, realistically. So, yeah. So I guess I was right. Holy cow! Didn't look right at first, but for whatever reason, Atlanta's the favorite.
I guess I'll start again. The Falcons. It's hard to explain what that was last Sunday. It seemed that, I mean, again, inferior is a fair word to say, and they got absolutely smoked. I mean, they were never in that game last week. Everybody was on Penix. Oh, he's the best of this class. Wow, he's looked really good. Super athletic, makes all the throws. He got benched. Okay. What is Atlanta? I don't even know what they are. I mean, offensively, they struggled even when they had Arthur Smith a few years ago. You felt like they were underusing their abilities and their talents and some of the key guys. I have no faith in them. On the other side, you're missing, obviously, Daniels and Lauren, but I don't know. I don't think it matters. I just think Washington's a better football team, and I'm going to take Washington plus the 1.5. And I'll take the over just because I feel like there's going to be some gross things happening in this game. Kickoffs and fumbles and weird stuff. So, Commanders and over.
I agree completely with you 100% on this game as well. I'm taking the Commanders and I'm taking the over. This is going to be in a dome, so obviously no weather watch for this one. And even though Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin are out, as you said, just what they did last week with the offense and having Mariota back there, it just seemed like it didn't matter who was at quarterback. They were just rolling anyway. So I'm going to keep that train and that theory going for this week, and I'm going to take Washington in the over.
I'm going against you guys in this one. I think Atlanta has too much talent offensively to lay an egg for a second straight week. I don't trust Marcus Mariota to have a second good game either. So I'm taking Atlanta. I think it's a crazy high-scoring game like Atlanta in the over itself.
Yeah, Marcus has been pretty good when they've called on him. I mean, so I mean, I don't think they really miss much. It's a different philosophy, but in terms of what that point spread, if Daniels was a quarterback, I don't think that point spread changes too much, honestly.
So I think if he's a quarterback, I think they're Washington's maybe 3.5-point favorites, in my opinion. So,
So another little tidbit too. I just looked to turn the page here. Is Krosky Merritt is back into the lineup.
Question for you: do we think Penix gets benched again in this game? I do.
Has he been named the starter?
I think so.
It's a bad outing. If it's a bad outing, for sure.
I don't think you can bench him 2 games in a row. If now again, I don't know who's been named the starter. I haven't paid attention to it. I'm not interested really in that game. But if Penix is named the starter, he was your guy. You moved a quarterback to make him your starter. You moved a franchise guy to make him your starter, and you put him out there, and he has a couple of good games, and he shits the bed. You pull him, and he goes out again. Hey, you're still our guy, and then he shits the bed again, and then you pull him. So in the back of his mind, what is he thinking? I better not eat before I play, because if I take I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? That's bad news. So I think that's a precedent you don't set with a young guy, in that way. But again, it's the Falcons. I don't know what they're thinking. And again, I'm not sure he's even starting. I haven't heard anything one way or the other who's been the starter.
Well, then
But
let me be the first to tell you that Penix is starting.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, there you go. Then I think unless he throws 5 interceptions, he's going to finish the game.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's we got a couple nasty games here coming up here. The New Orleans Saints is going to Buffalo. Buffalo is giving 14.5, and the over/under is set at 47.5.
My lock of the week right here. Give me the Saints. Saints in the over. We just talked about they're the 3rd highest ranked passing team in the league. They're going to be chucking that ball all over the field. And Buffalo's defense is not good either. We talked about Baltimore's defense. Mike, we talked about this prior. The top 2 teams in the league, at least what we look at as being the top 2 teams, at least in the AFC, have 2 of the worst defenses in this. So what is it going to be when it matters? A game like this, do you think they're really clawing at the bits to play the Saints? I think it's a trap game to some degree. I'm not saying that Buffalo is going to lose this game, but you give me an NFL team and 14.5 points that throws the ball 60 times a game, I'm taking it. So give me the Saints in the over, and I've spoken my piece.
Go, Chad.
Matt, I think you swayed me a little bit on this one. Plus that 14.5 is just, that's a scary big number, especially in the NFL. So I'm going to ride with you on this. Again, I think you're right. They're going to sling this ball around. It is in Buffalo. I'm not sure what the weather is, so it's an open air stadium. But
74 degrees and clear.
Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then let the balls fly. Mike loves that scenario. So I think that I think that I just think that the 14.5, that's the big, too big of a number right now. So I'm going to go with you.
You taking New Orleans in the over?
Yep. New Orleans in the over.
I'm going Buffalo in this one.
The same so far, Jazz?
What's that?
Have we picked every game the same so far?
Currently, yes.
I don't have to do that anymore.
So
okay.
I hope you're good. I hope you're good this week.
I hope you know what I'm talking about. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm taking Buffalo in this one, and I'm taking the under. I think Buffalo annihilates this team.
I think you're just doing it just to go against us.
No.
I'm so glad you're good with the over-unders. I really am.
He's so far he's the best. So far he's the best.
Yeah.
27. Yeah, 27 and 21 overall.
Oh, on just the over-unders?
On just over-unders, yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. He's in a positive 6. Next game here.
Is that before his haircut or after his haircut? Because before his haircut, I'm not sure.
Get one yet, so it might be a bad week.
We'll find out. We'll find out if the haircut correlates with the over-unders. So the next game here is Detroit Lions is going to welcome the Cleveland Browns to their stadium at Ford Field, and Cleveland is going to get 10.5, and the over/under is set at 44.5. I was going to say
about the Browns being the best defense in the league. I believe that they're only giving up 200 yards a game. You can't rule them. They're giving up, I think, 46 yards a game on games. But guess what the Detroit Lions do extremely well is run the ball. I can't imagine they're going to at least try and get off that philosophy. So I see this game early close because, again, another big number, 10.5. But remember the Browns game? Was it Browns and Ravens a few weeks ago when they were in that game? And then all of a sudden it was like 41-17, because they just put a can of whoop ass on them. Detroit offensively can do the same thing, too, against anybody. So if they run the ball, whatever, soften them up a little bit. This is a Jameson Williams game for me. He's due. So he's catching one over 40 yards and a touchdown, put in the bank. Jameson Williams this week. So I'm on Detroit. I'm on the over again inside. 10.5 is enough for me. They win by 11.5. How about that?
I just
Oh,
wanted
by
to
the
be...
way, give me Buffalo for a defensive touchdown.
Interesting.
Okay, give me Cleveland for a touchdown.
Oh, against the Lions. Wow, that's big. Well, hey, no pressure. Here, let me give you mine. Let's see. I haven't really looked yet, but I'll keep going. All right. Let's roll. Hey, you got a list you want to get back to? Oh, we got to make your picks. Finish your picks, guys.
Yeah, quit trying to jump the gun.
Oh, I got excited. Sorry.
Jeez, oh man. This is why we don't invite you to things, because you get excited.
Hey, last year I brought cranberries.
So I just want to say that I wrote down my pick before you picked, and it happens to be the identical of what you just said.
We're
I know.
so screwed.
Oh my
I
God,
know.
you guys are doomed.
We are screwed. But I just think, like you said, I think if we saw the coming out party of the Detroit Lions last week, then this is a no-brainer to just ride this horse until you can't ride it no more. So that's why I'm taking Detroit, even though it's a pretty remarkable number. And you know, what do we, sometimes we say, records are meant to be broken and stats are made to be changed. So this is going to be that game where you would think that Cleveland's going to keep this game tight, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's just too much firepower for Detroit, and they're just going to smoke the Browns at home.
Billy Ray Cyrus, ride this horse, baby.
I'm with you guys. Make it a trifecta. Make it the trifecta.
Wow.
Detroit me over. Detroit me over. Yeah.
Wow, we're all on it again.
Cleveland's offense is really bad, and Detroit's offense is really good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Which is shocking, because as good as their defense is, how are they doing it with their offense as bad as it is? It's like usually, one can support the other, but not be in spite of the other and be that good.
Well,
so
they do have one bright spot in Cleveland. That rookie Judkins has looked pretty good as a running back for them. That's about the only bright spot they have on that team, though.
Yep. Okay. So let's talk about number 4.
Number 4 on top 5, fellas.
Number 4. I kind of alluded to it. I am selling Christian McCaffrey. And the reason being is because I just don't see how a human can handle the workload that he's handling and being asked to handle at the position he plays, at the age at which he is. I don't care. I don't want to hear the anomalies, the exceptions to the rule to prove to me that, he's going to be just fine. Okay, let him be somebody else's concern. It's just not going to be me. Because history tells you that players of this age, with this sort of usage, it does not sustain. Okay, there's a high percentage of players where it does not work out. So I am selling McCaffrey and his 77 touches and only 1 touchdown so far, by the way, this year. So he's a volume player at this point. And if you take away his strength, which is volume, which I'm sure at some point they're going to have to do because he can't sustain this, it just supports my theory even further. So I'm selling the guy on pace for 400 touches. That is well past, I think, the prime of his career at this point.
My 4th one is Travis Kelce. Even though that he has been looking very frustrated and out of sorts, but when you look at it, that offense has been kind of out of sorts. But I think, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. You can't count them out, even though they're 0-3 at this point, or 1-2 or whatever they are. It's still Andy Reid, it's still Patrick Mahomes, and there's still Travis Kelce there being his safety blanket. Now, again, Travis hasn't been putting up great numbers, but then again, neither have Kansas City been putting up great numbers on offense either. So I think this one, you kind of ride this one for at least another 2 to 3 weeks before you want to go ahead and either make a decision on keeping or selling. So that's what I'm going for my top 4 is, or my 4th pick is Travis Kelce.
Okay, my number 4 is buy. Go and trade for this young man, Rome Odunze. The guy has turned into the number 1 target in Chicago. He has 27 targets on the year in 3 games, 16 catches, 227 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Listen, there's nothing stopping this kid except for an injury to the quarterback or himself. I could see him finishing the year between 80 and 90 catches, around 1,200 yards, around 12 touchdowns. If you can get him any way you can in a trade on DFS, go and get this guy. This guy is a stud. and he'll be in the number one receiver in Chicago for a long, long time.
By the way, you mentioned he's got the 4 touchdowns. He's got 4 red zone targets this year, leading the team. All his red zone catches have been for touchdowns. So, pretty impressive.
Very well. Matt, did you go?
Yeah. I brought up selling Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, okay. My bad. You were the first one. All right. So moving along here, we got the Carolina Panthers going into Foxborough, and they're going to carry with them 5.5, and the over under is 42.5.
They're favored by 5.5.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Carolina is getting 5.5.
I am going to go Carolina here and the under. I like the points in this game. I'm not convinced. I think maybe we overhyped the Patriots a little bit, especially early on. They haven't looked great offensively at all. May has looked just okay. And they really haven't gotten a top really receiver threat of any kind. Not running the ball particularly well. Offense just doesn't look good. So I am on that Panthers team that it's got to be coming in on a high after last week's just beat down of the Falcons. So I'm on the Panthers here. Take the 5.5. Give me the under in a muddied up, kind of gross defensive style game. You assume. So I'm going Panthers in the under.
Okay, now is when I go against you. Give me
your first.
Give me the Patriots and give me the over in this game. And I think that most of this scoring is going to end up coming from the Patriots. Now, the little bit of tidbit that I have from this game is that Chuba Hubbard is questionable, and Leggett is out for this game. Couple that with a questionable McMillan, and you got a surefire disaster waiting to happen potentially for the Carolina Panthers. I think that this game ends up being a slop fest for Carolina again, and then trying to figure out who in the world that they can get the ball to. I think Drake May has figured out how to do this thing. Also, in our league, he is top 4 in fantasy points in the entire league. So Drake May is slinging the pill, and he's doing it effectively. So I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take New England.
All right,
Hubbard was a limited participant Thursday and Friday and is probably expected to play. So that's what they had said. He was limited both. Just a little side note there on Hubbard.
Okay.
We have 3 different picks this week, gentlemen. So I am on Carolina backdooring this game. I think New England wins in a higher scoring game, like 27-24. I like Carolina in the points and the over in this one.
Okay. I'm on one of Mike's picks. Ooh, watch, this will be the one he loses.
Pretty much.
This will be the one he loses. Next game here is Jackson Dart's coming out party, potentially, but it just so happens to be a very tall matchup, considering that the LA Chargers are going to come into MetLife Stadium and take on the Giants, and they're going to give the Giants 6.5 in this matchup, and the over-under is set at 43.5.
Giants in the over for me. I'll take the points again here. It's a lot of points. I don't know what to expect from Jackson Dart other than I think that they're going to play well for Jackson Dart. I think that they're probably going to give their best effort to this point. I guess we'll see who the Giants really are. I think it'll be conservative, certainly. But I also think that they're going to utilize Jackson Dart's physical abilities, be able to move him out of the pocket, run him a little bit. It's going to be hard for the Chargers to game plan against him, really not knowing what to expect. So I think the Giants have an advantage early in this game. And if that's the case, I feel like I've got an advantage getting those 6.5 points. So I'll take the Giants. I'll take the over because I think that the Giants are going to somewhat compete in this game. And again, it's 6.5 points. It's a lot of points. So Giants in the over.
No, you cannot. Go outside. Go do something.
Good, Mike.
I also like the Giants in the over. I like the Giants so much in this game, I'm going to bet the money line on this one. I think they win this game.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I like the Giants' defense. I think they're going to give the Chargers shit fits up front. They have another offensive lineman went down. He's questionable. So you take away their left tackle and put their left guard now. You have a new running back in Hampton going to get all the carries now. Cam Scatterby is going to be their lead back for the Giants, and Jackson Dart. Neighbors is questionable with a back injury, but you know what? I think the Giants coming out party. I like Jackson Dart this week. The 6.5 I like, but I like them to win this game. So give me the Giants and the over also.
That's a huge money line. That's got to be like plus 260, 280,
Probably.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's almost 41. Yeah. Wow. That's big.
All right, I'm going to go against the grain on this one. I'm going to take the Chargers because, well, prove me wrong is my mindset in that one, but I'm on the over train in this one. So I got to take the Chargers, and I'm going to take the over with everybody else. Here we go. Last one here that we'll talk about, and then we'll go back into our top five. Philadelphia Eagles are going into Tampa, and they're going to give Tampa 3.5 at home, and they're going to get 43.5 as an over/under.
Tough game here. I mean, the Eagles have won what, 15, 16 straight games now at this point. It's got to come to an end at some point, right? Let's build the case for Tampa. I'm not going to talk about the injuries because I think Baker's even questionable now, isn't he? I've heard earlier today.
Yes, he is.
Here's some positives for Buccaneers. It's going to be hot as a bastard. It's going to be 90 degrees. Okay, so weather is always a factor still, I think, for teams like Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, certainly. They play in the South against teams that aren't used to that heat. And Tampa's a physical team, so it's not like you can't bully Tampa. So it's going to be a physical game. But the Buccaneers, they've got so many injuries still right now, and Baker's the biggest one. If Baker doesn't go, then I'm definitely on the Eagles. But because of the hook, we know we like that hook. Even if the Eagles do pull off another close game, which they possibly can, I just give me the home team and some of these crazy variables, and Baker starting is my caveat. So Buccaneers over, good enough for me.
I'm going to go next. Tampa Bay has two starting offensive linemen out. Mike Evans is out. I just see too much problems with Tampa this week. I'm taking Philly for sure. And it's 43.5.
43.5.
I'm going to take the over. Give me Philly in the over in this one. The hook doesn't scare me. I think it's going to be 27-17 Philly. So.
As a fantasy nugget side note, I love A.J. Brown against this week. We talked about it, Chaz, before, Mike and I, about how Barkley's numbers are different this year. Last year, he was 4 yards before he got contact. This year, he's got 2 yards and he's getting contact. Not running the same. Offensive line's different. Left tackle's different. We were banging the Eagles in terms of, they're not going to be able to win close games or come back. They don't throw the ball. Well, in a half of a football game, they dominated. And they have the ability to clearly do that as well. So I like, and Tampa's a defense you can throw on, I feel still. I like A.J. Brown against this week from a fantasy perspective. Yeah, I think the passing game for Philly has another big game. But intangibles, like I said, that hook, baby, that hook. So let's see.
Okay. I'm going to keep this one just super simple, only because Tampa Bay's got a ton of offensive weapons that are out. And again, questionable on top of that, because I think Mbuka is still questionable as well. So I think this is just an injury game. So that's pretty much the reason why I'm giving Philadelphia the edge in this one. I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to take the under in this though. I think it's going to be a crazy game. I think it's going to look worse than what we actually think it's going to be. And if I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay went and signed 2 400-pound plus inside down linemen for this game specifically. So playing a couple games here. So even though I still think that, Tampa Bay, again, if they had their weapons, this would be a way different story, a way different game. But because of the injuries, I'm going to have to go with Philly, and I'm going to take the under in this as well.
Can I bring up a Vegas perspective here? I just checked to see what the opening line was in this game, and it's the same. It hasn't moved.
Right.
So despite the injury drops have been coming through the week as progressed, the line hasn't moved. So, I mean, certainly if Baker's out, I think it will. But to the money is right where it's been since Monday morning. So that's interesting to me. I just think that Vegas is in the right place here. I think it's a trap game for Philly in this spot. Again, I think
It could be.
all
So here's
indications
the-
Philly wins, but I think it's a tough spot.
Here's the big question: if Baker can't go, who's their backup? It's not Kyle Trask anymore. He's out.
I'll tell you right now.
At least
Okay, real quick.
I'm almost positive Kyle Trask is not there anymore. As a matter of fact, I think he's in Buffalo now.
It is Teddy.
Bridgewater. There
Eddie
you have it.
Bridgewater. Yeah.
Okay. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, number 3.
Well, I'll go again. You guys beat up my number 3 pretty badly. You guys are both dumping him to the trash, getting him out of here. Bye, baby. You're not going to be your daddy. But I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that, again, we all sort of agree it's not the player, it's the spot, right? Environment, we say, is everything. And unfortunately, his environment is midget for a quarterback and an inefficient organization that just cannot use their players to the best of their abilities. Now, when you saw that, when you got Marvin Harrison in isolation, you built this kid's confidence. And you need to do that for players that are beat down. Media was on them all week, dropping passes, key spots. Had a big one in that game yesterday over the middle of the field, like we talked about. But again, if you can flip the script and you use this guy's ability, 6'4", 225, big receiver, give him 50-50 shots. He's going to get 80% of those 50-50 shots. Okay, do the math. I'll take that. So I think Marvin Harrison right now, unfortunately, the environment doesn't change, but I think they kind of sort of figure out that they got a guy that can ball. And if they get him in the right spot and get him some opportunity, it's 2 guys catching footballs there. It's him and it's McBride. So, in that spot right there, Harrison's pricing, I mean, I'll give you an example right now where he is. In terms of DK algorithms, he's still like middle of the pack. So there's still, I think, a tremendous upside there value-wise for a guy like Harrison. I want Marvin Harrison. So I think you can buy low on Marvin and at least get to what you thought you got coming into this year. Maybe a mid wide receiver 2, something like that. So that's how I feel about the tree.
Okay, I'll go. We've talked about him just not that long ago. I think me and Mike had talked about this guy, and I think he is the second coming of Mike Allstat, but with a longer career. And that player is buy heavy Cam Scatterbo. I think the guy is just a dynamite player. I think he has burst onto the scene and really showed people what he was all about. He was a stud in the senior year at Arizona State. And now that he's getting into a rhythm, he's getting into a grind, he looks like he is full force, ready to go. And now with Tracy Jr. having an injury and being out, and Cam being able to really get his wheels moving and get his feet underneath of him, I think the sky's the limit for this kid right now. So my buy heavy is Cam Scatterbo.
Would you consider him like a poor man's McCaffrey? I know it's early.
I would, yeah, probably.
Probably that kind of player.
I think his narrative changes after this year. He's going to end up being probably top 20, top 15 running back off the board.
He could very well.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. But it's a great time for him because that shoulder injury isn't going to be a 1-week thing for Tracy.
Nope.
So they're looking at 3 to 4 weeks minimum.
Well,
So
not to mention Tracy was already hurt, came back for a game, got hurt again.
Right. So a guy I'm down on, guys, if you have him. A guy I'm down on, if you have him, get rid of him. DeAndre Swift. Not doing it much for me at all in Chicago. It's funny. I'm huge on Rome Dunze. I think the Bears have found their guy, but DeAndre Swift, boy, he's not bad. 42 for $149 and a touchdown. But since Kyle Monaguy's back, he's starting touches in the backfield, starting to get some less targets out of the backfield. they thought they were going to use this guy like they used Jamar Gibbs in Detroit. But right now, he's losing touches to the rookie back. He only has 9 catches on year for 63 yards. If you have him as one of your starters, I'd sell him. If you can't get a lot of good backs out there. A guy in Jacksonville I like a lot is Tootin. That kid could get still some carries from
ETN.
Etienne, yeah, and he's definitely their goal line guy there in Jacksonville. So, but this guy
Which-
Swift, I've lost all the confidence in. So
Can we
I can
again?
give you snap share on these guys. DeAndre Swift, 61%. Your guy, Kyle Monagai, 29%, down from the previous week at 41%. Could have been game script, but it's probably a 2/3 to 1/3 split at this point. It can change, based on,
Right.
Obviously one guy does
I'm
better
not
than the other.
saying Monaghan's going to take his job. I'm not saying that at all. But beginning of the year with Ben Johnson as a coach, you would think that Swift was going to be like the Jamar Gibbs type, a lot of targets out of the backfield, a lot of carries. Just it seems a lesson each week. So maybe it's the script of the games. I don't know. But he only went 13 for 33 last week. So if he had 3 catches for 45 yards too, but the Bears offense seems to it definitely is made up of Caleb Williams, what they want to do with him. So
I just want to make a comment that I think I still don't understand or the reasoning or anything like that why they would trade Tank Bigsby out of Jacksonville. I just don't get it. I don't see the bigger picture in this yet.
Yeah, we talked about this on Wednesday about that.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think this was a huge fumble on their part. So like I said, I just wanted to make that comment. So
Well, they drafted Tootin, and they're similar style backs where they got like ETN, which is more of a, first and second down back, obviously got huge play potential, catch the ball in the backfield, whatever, space guy. And Tootin, I think, is kind of a Bigsby guy. They're very similar in terms of style.
But if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me, but if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Bigsby the one scoring all the touchdowns in that backfield last year?
Yeah,
He was.
Which,
but
again,
2 years ago, Mostert was getting all the touchdowns in Miami, and they got rid of him. He hasn't done anything since. A lot of it comes down to opportunity, and it comes down to just there are anomalies at times, things that just stand out. So, I mean, yeah, granted, you're right. Bigsby was a good player, but
not to mention
he's
too,
not being used right now either.
No, he's not. But not to mention too, even in his first game in Jacksonville before they traded him, they only used him 5 plays. That was it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
get
there
it.
was other things, maybe it wasn't, NFL type stuff, like on the field type stuff. Maybe it was other.
You would think though at week 4 we would have heard about that by now. Especially considering that he went to Philly and we haven't seen him since. Basically fell off the face of the earth.
At all. Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
So, all right, let's get back into it. Tennessee Titans are going to the Houston Texans, divisional game here, and Tennessee is going to get 7.5, and the over/under is a whopping 39.5. Very low for this. The lowest one I think of the weekend. Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Did you say they're getting 7.5
Tennessee is getting
Houston's
7.5.
minus 7.5.
and 39.5?
39.5. That's correct. That is
Wow.
correct. Yes.
Right. I'll go.
I agree.
Well, who is Houston 7.5 points better than? I mean, honestly, right now.
Not to mention, even in their division.
Hey, throwing it out there, mark the audience.
Right.
That's
I
just,
totally agree.
that's a crazy number to me right now. I mean, their defensive line is still bad. CJ Stroud is like a shell of himself in a contract year. And it's not good for Texans, but I don't know. I mean, Cam Ward too, Ricky still kind of not showing great things in Tennessee's offense. It's a lot of points. Tennessee in the under. That's my pick.
Wow, Tennessee in the under, even on a low game already.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like this game. I think this is a shit game. I don't even want to pick it, to be honest with you, but we have to. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Houston because Nico is off the injury report. He's going to be playing, but the bad part is Stingley Jr. is questionable, but it still sounds like he's going to play possibly. So for that reason, I'll go Houston and I'll go the over.
These two teams are 29th and 31st in total offense.
That means there's gonna be a lot of points scored then. It's time. So I'm with you, Chaz. I'm on Houston in the over. Though I think CJ Stroud is bad. He's bad. But I could see a lot of turnovers this game. It's a sloppy game, and like a 27-17 Houston win. So I'm taking Houston the over at home.
So, fun fact, I actually, this would probably be better yet left for a college question, but I've just thought it was an interesting stat. And since we're talking about CJ, in the last 10 years, the rookie offensive players of the year have been from Ohio State.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty wild. But when was the last time an Ohio State quarterback actually had longevity success in the NFL? I don't think I can remember one.
Don't want.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think here's an interesting game this weekend. The Indianapolis Colts are going to go up to LA Rams, and they're going to have a slugfest where it's going to be the Colts are going to get 3.5. Very, very surprising, if I say so myself. And thank you, Grammy Shar.
Happy birthday.
I heard her. Thank you, Grammy Shar. Appreciate you. Love you, baby. And the over-under is set at 49.5. So 3.5 to Indy and 49.5 for the over-under. I think this is a no-brainer as far as points go, but you guys tell me what you think.
I think both defenses are very good against the rush, against the pass. Against the pass, both teams are inside the top 7. Against the rush, both teams are inside the top 12, top 10 or 11. So a defensive game for me. I like what was interesting. If you would have told me at any point that Daniel Jones would only be a 3.5-point dog on the road against a team that we all thought could maybe be a Super Bowl contender for the NFL,
no.
That's great, but it's true.
Correct
and
me if
the
I'm
Colts
wrong.
are just complete.
Okay,
I mean, they're putting Daniel Jones in the right spot all the time. He's making all the right reads. Jonathan Taylor looks like he's running back in 2019 again. He's been really effective. So I think the fact that Davis is telling you that these teams are closer than we think. And the Rams' weakness on their defense is the interior. And I think Indianapolis is going to try to exploit that. Taylor's going to get a lot of run. So I think the Rams are a better football team. This is another game. Vegas is teasing her for all these hooks, 3, 4.5, whatever. They want to pick a winner. They want to have a side. Give me the hook. So I'll take that extra half a point and give me the Colts plus the 3.5, and I'll go with the under in this game. 49.5. That's a big number. So not with both their defenses on both sides of the ball being inside the top 10, 11.
Okay.
Colts and under.
I wrote mine before you picked, and I picked exactly the same. And I think it's just crazy at this point that you're going to give the Indianapolis Colts 3.5 points at this juncture when they've been pretty dominant in the NFL, surprisingly dominant in the NFL thus far. So I think this one's a no-brainer in my eyes. Not to mention Devontae Adams is questionable in this game as well. Not that it may be a huge thing, but if he doesn't go, that's a huge factor when it comes down to it, because you got a big name guy, a still able guy, not being able to be an option for Matt Stafford. So I'm going to go Colts. I'm going to go under.
Not so fast, gentlemen. Give me the Rams because they're kicking themselves after blowing that 26-7 lead last week in Philly. I think they're going to bounce back in a big way. I think it's a close game, but I think it's not enough points for Indy. So give me the Rams and give me the under in a defensive game. I think Danny Dimes is going to throw some dimes to the Rams possibly in this one. So I think I see a couple of turnovers in this game, but low score game. We're talking like 23-10, 23-13, the Rams.
Okay. The next game on the docket is Jacksonville going to the 49ers. And Jacksonville is going to get 3.5, and the over-under is 46.5.
Interesting. My team go
a
first.
big number to me, doesn't it, fellas? 46.5 in this game?
Well, when you know, here's the reason why. You ready? Brock Purdy's playing.
Mm. Still seems
Purdy.
big.
Yep. Brock Purdy
Jaguars
is back.
fourth best against the rush this year. We talked about McCaffrey and his 4,600,000 touches. Jacksonville's fourth best against the rush. Their defense is good. The defense is actually pretty good. For me, that's just a little side note.
Did you make a pick?
Who's going to go?
You can go, Matt. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to go with the four. I think the Niners stay undefeated, which is good for them. We talked about their schedule at the beginning of the year being a little light, and it's unfortunate because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. And despite that, they've still been efficient enough. And now they're getting the quarterback back in the building. I think that's huge. So I will take the Niners here, and I will take the under. I think, again, both defenses kind of show up. So, yeah, Niners in the under for me. 24-20 type game.
Go ahead, Mike.
I always hate when East Coast teams go west. To me, that always screws with them big time. So that being said, I think San Francisco is a better team here. Getting Brock Purdy back is huge. So I'm definitely on the Niners this week. But give me the over because I could see a little bit more scoring with Brock Purdy coming back. That line just seems off to me. Should be around 43.5. It's 46.5 for a reason. So give me the over in this one.
Okay. Matt, I apologize. You said what for your picks?
Niners in the under.
Niners in the under. Okay. That's right. I should have guessed because I picked the exact same thing again. I think Brock Purdy being back is going to be the difference in this one. I think it's why the line is what it is. Otherwise, I think it would be a little bit closer. The 46.5, I don't trust either of these teams to get close to that. So I'm also going to take the under. So those are my reasonings. Moving on. The game here that's probably going to be the most interesting and also one of the most highly anticipated games that is not going to live up to the hype is the Baltimore Ravens going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are getting 2.5 at home. And the over-under is set at 48.5.
Wow.
Right. It's kind of my mindset in this too, Mike. Wow. So I'll start on this one since I've kind of taken a backseat to most of these. We know that Baltimore can score points. We know that Kansas City's struggling. We also know that Baltimore lets up a lot of points. So this could be a tight game, high scoring, and come down to a field goal, which in this case, I'm going to go with the more experienced field goal kicker, and that's going to be Harrison Butker. So I'm going to take Kansas City, and I'm going to take the over.
Mike, I'll go. Kansas City's pass defense is inside the top 10. They're not giving up 200 yards a game. Baltimore's offense, obviously, we talked about how good Lamar has been, the only quarterback with 140 QBR passer rating, whatever it is, and lose those games. That's crazy. The defense has been so bad. So, Lamar is going to get his, but I don't know. I just think strength to strength, not that Kansas City's offense has been any good. I just think the fact that Baltimore's defense has been so bad that the Kansas City offense doesn't have to be great to win this game. They've got to be good enough. Don't turn it over. Maybe this is the Pacheco week we've been waiting for 2+ years. Who knows? But Kansas City, Baltimore, could we looking at them as 1-3 to start the year? That's hard to swallow too. One of these teams is going to be 1-3, correct?
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I'm going to stay with what I said. I'm going to take the Chiefs at home. It's always a tough place to play, no matter what. That total 48.5 is a big number. Chiefs in the over.
You're riding with me.
Did you two talk before this?
No, I swear to you. I don't know what he's doing. He obviously knows that I know football better than him, so he's copying off my pick.
Or, since our name is the Sports Dummy, we're going to be effing dummies because, one of us or both of us, wow, this is going to be either a great week or we're going to be looking at each other going, I'm never picking your picks again.
I know. So I don't know if this changes anybody's minds. It doesn't for mine. Xavier Worthy is coming back. He is playing in this game. He may be on a snap count though, and Isaiah Likely is also playing in this game.
He's likely to be playing.
He is likely to be starting probably or playing.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
I can't do it. I cannot take the Chiefs in this game. I don't care if they're in Kansas City. I don't care if the second time Mahomes has been a home dog at home. I don't care. Baltimore's the superior team. They're going to score more points in Kansas City. I think they win it, but I think they beat the hook. I'll give it 23-20 Baltimore. Give me Baltimore and the under in this one.
Wow.
Okay, Mike, you're riding on a lot of these by yourself. So if you're right, you're going to be a master. If you're wrong, you're devastated.
We have a massive lead on us week 4. It's going to be over.
He's already got a pretty decent lead on us, so maybe this is our chance. And we just so happen to be riding with each other, not anywhere else. So,
and that's why they play the games, fellas.
Yeah, that's why they play the game. Okay, so let's go. This is a good place to go to our number 2.
Okay, I just pulled up his screen. I am buying me some AJ Brown. I took AJ Brown in the first round in one of my drafts. That's pretty much where he was going. Back end, maybe you got him at the turn. The second week he had 8 targets. Third week, last week he had 10 targets, got a touchdown. You saw his dominance. He's an outside the numbers guy. I mentioned the fact of that the Philly run game, at least for the first couple of games, is different than it was last year. It's not as dominant. And we were banging on Philly's game script as to who they really are offensively. Can they be just a running team? Do they just have to play with the lead? Can Jalen Hurts run the offense, passing the football? Well, they answered those questions in a half last week against a very good defensive team. So I'm on AJ Brown. If you have him, you continue to ride him, expect big things. I think this is another big week for AJ Brown against Tampa's passing defense, who has typically not been very good. So I like AJ Brown, buy high or buy low, however it is. Most people are going to hold on to him, but if you can pull him away, I think there's some comps out there that you may be able to trade for. Certainly, for instance, right now you mentioned how much you guys love Rome Odunze. Who are you riding the rest of the way? You riding Rome Odunze? You riding AJ Brown?
Rome. I'm riding Rome.
I'm on AJ.
I think there's too much talent in Philly. I think it'll be spread around. You gave Devontae Washington of Devontae Smith there and Goddard. I just think there's too many balls to be spread around there. Where to me, DJ Moore hasn't done anything at all in Chicago. The one kid who's interesting in Chicago is Burden. He actually had a pretty good game last week. So, but yeah, I would go Odunze over AJ Brown. But AJ Brown's a stud. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, Chaz, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go. My second is probably going to be surprising a little bit to some, but mine is a buy, but not in terms of a high buy. You buy him if you can, and if you have him, keep him. Is DK Metcalf. Now, again, I know it sounds crazy, but he's caught 10 of his 17 targets for about 135 yards, but he's got 2 touchdowns. So he's had 2 touchdowns in 3 games here, and 2 in the last 2, especially. I just think this is a patient one. Okay, I think this is one that it's a slow burn. It's going to pay off in the end. It's your dividends one that just keeps collecting for you. So in a fantasy aspect, I'd like DK Metcalf to continue the course and maybe get a little bit better number wise as it goes forward. Maybe the Steelers start to figure it out that throwing the DK down inside the 30 rather than trying to have Austin, try to go for touchdowns when he's the smallest guy on the field. I don't get that mindset of it. But I think hopefully they figure this out. So I'm hopeful on this one, but I would still keep him. And again, I think he pays off in the end for you.
What worries me is our wide receiver room collectively has 4 total red zone targets through the first 3 games. Jalen Warren has 13. So, and he's not even playing. So that's an issue, potentially. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I love Metcalf as well, but I just have so little faith in the ability of the offense and Aaron Rodgers. I hope you're right. I hope you are right there, buddy.
Yep, I'm
For all
So
I'm
here,
kind of
so
a homer, so
my number two is a guy I'm torn on. Brian Thomas Jr. with
yeah.
Jacksonville.
Hey, good call.
Good one.
The guy has 25 targets on the year. He only has 7 catches for 115 yards on the year. They said 2 weeks ago he had a wrist injury. He gave up on a few plays. Could have ended the game on a 4th down catch. Could have cemented a game with a touchdown catch wide open in the end zone. This is a guy who last year in his rookie season had 87 catches for 1,282 yards and 10 touchdowns. I mean, the guy has 7 catches for 115 yards and no touchdowns. And mind you, Travis Hunter and Parker Washington are number 2 and 3s. They have 17 catches between them for less than 200 yards. So something's got to give there. I can't give up on this kid after the year he had last year. Their offense is better. So I don't know. I'm torn here, guys, but my gut tells me buy low on this guy if you can. You might be able to get him cheap in a fantasy league in a trade because his numbers are so bad. But I think I just can't see him continue. There's no other options there in Jacksonville. Brenton Strange, maybe, Parker Washington, Travis Hunter. There's no one else to go to. So if it's me, if you can get the guy cheap, go and get him. I think
Well, here are the numbers, Mike. In terms of snap share, the second leading receiver for snap share besides Brian Thomas is Parker Washington.
Parker
at
Washington,
78%.
right.
Okay,
Right.
other than that, 50% Travis Hunter, because, he's focused more some on the defense. De'Ami Brown in certain packages.
Right.
It's Brian Thomas. He's the guy.
That's what I'm saying. So you got to buy.
He's also leading the team in red zone targets. He's got
Right.
4. So, and also total targets, he's sitting at about 25 total targets. So he's getting about 7 to 8 targets a game.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
you want to get back to 9 or 10 targets a game, but it's execution right now is the problem.
Absolutely.
It's a combination of things. I really do.
He's second in the league. He's second in the league with 4 drop passes.
Yeah, there's issues there.
To me, my gut feeling is the guys look like garbage. But if you can buy low on this guy, do it right now. Go and get him. Offer a guy like I'll tell you, the guy me and Chaz almost fell over the other night. The guy from the Vegas Raiders.
Trey Turner.
Tucker.
Trey Tucker. He's number 3 in fantasy points. Yeah, I mean, go and deal him for Brian Thomas Jr. if you can.
No, I talked about him last week. I wrote him up when I was looking at the snap share for the Raiders. I think I'm going to go back to the notes real quick, but yeah, I mentioned Tucker coming into the 3rd week. I said he's their deep threat, 90% snap share. He's the clear number 2. This is Tucker, and then he went out and had a huge week last week. I had him nowhere, but I made notes of him and mentioned the fact that in that pass happy offense and the play action suits a guy like that that's got big skill to get down the field. So
let's be honest, you were talking about Tanya Tucker last week, not Trey Tucker. So.
You focus on your touches, okay? You focus on your touches.
I got it 68 times, man, in 5 minutes. Remember that.
That's a record. It's unbelievable.
That's right. It's a record. So,
99. Yeah.
So that's my guy, Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. So back into our Sunday slate, we're going to go with Chicago and the Las Vegas Raiders, the Chicago Bears, Las Vegas Raiders. And this is basically a pick 'em game. The Bears are going to get 1.5, and the over-under is strangely set at 48.5.
Raiders in the over. I'm going to keep it simple. I liked Caleb Williams' performance last week, but it was expected because we know how good that other side defense is. I don't know. I think the Raiders are just going to be a different team. They lost their first game at home. That was a tough game. I don't know. I just think the Raiders are just slightly better, in a slightly better position in this game. Tough emotional game, Chicago, I think. And I'm taking the Raiders. Give me some Gino. Brock Bowers did not have a touchdown this point. That will change this week. Fantasy Nugget. Get me some Brock Bowers this week. Yancey don't have a touchdown either. Either of those guys do. Somebody get touchdowns in Vegas this week. So Raiders and the
I'm going completely opposite on you in this. I'm going with the Bears, and I'm going with the under. I think that 48.5 is too high. And I think the Bears have maybe figured out a little bit of offense, but it almost looks like that the Raiders are kind of a disappointment right now, considering some of the hype that we had coming into it. I think we expected a little bit more out of the Raiders than what we're getting, and it's not looking good. I think for that aspect, I think the Raiders are on low, and I think the Bears are riding a high right now. So I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go with the under.
Surprising aspect last week. I'm with you on the Bears, Chaz. Myself.
Okay.
I like the Bears in the over in this one. Surprising aspect: their best cornerback goes out last week. Doesn't play. I know that CeeDee Lamb gets hurt in the first series and try to come back couldn't because of a high ankle sprain. But the Bears defense really put some pressure on Dak the whole game, and kind of look like they're starting to play like they did toward last year at the end of the year, where their defense was dominating. So give me the Bears in this one. I think Geno turns it over 2 or 3 times to the Bears defense. I think Caleb keeps going this week. Surprisingly, I'm not a big fan of his, but I think he keeps it going. I think the Raiders' secondary is a little poor, so give me the Bears, myself, and the over in this one.
Okay. And just a little side note here: Swift and Loveland are questionable. Okay, so our Sunday night game, which, depending on how you want to look at this game, could be a good game, could be a shite game, but it's definitely a game that you're going to want to watch because Micah Parsons goes back into Dallas with the Green Bay Packers, and the Packers are giving Dallas, the home team, 6.5 points, and the over/under is set at 46.5.
a lot of points on the road.
All right, I'll start with this one. Give me Dallas and all these points. And the big reason why is because Dak Prescott is in the top 10 right now in fantasy numbers. I think he's like 9th or 8th or something like that. But even though he's down, CeeDee Lamb, he still has Turpin, and he still has that knucklehead that probably shouldn't be playing with even a potato gun in George Pickens. But I'm kind of worried about Green Bay right now. We haven't heard a lot about them. They kind of looked great, and then they didn't for some reason, especially against that Cleveland team. Now, again, they have a good defense, but it still wasn't the Green Bay Packers that we thought we were going to get this year, especially with all the wide receivers that they have. I'm going to take the points in this game, and they're in a dome, sort of, but Green Bay didn't do well against that defense. This one's not as great as a defense. I'm going to take the over in this game. So Dallas in the over.
Man, Dallas' defense is so bad, but 6.5 is a big number. So I kind of think Dallas is going to fight and claw the entire game just to keep it inside the number. And if they do that, then I think they creep towards that total. So I'm going to go backdoor here, and I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys and the over.
You two never learn. Pick it again with each other. I swear. I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah, I figured.
I think Green Bay had a bad week. I love Green Bay's defensive pressure. No CeeDee Lamb. That hurts. One of the Dallas's guards questionable. Give me Green Bay in the over in this one. I see Green Bay win this like 30-17. So.
Okay, we're all on the over. Just so everybody knows, because I didn't lead off with this, Kraft, Jacobs, and Parsons, all green lights.
That's big.
All
It's
green
going to
lights.
be a big Tucker Kraft day. I guess the Cowboys can't stop the pass. I think Jordan Love is going to be flinging it all over the field in this game.
The funny thing you mentioned that, I think Dallas is going to try too much to stop worry about the pass, and Jacobs going to have a huge game against them.
It's possible.
Yep. He
Jacobs
could
is still
he
getting the touch line.
Yep. He can definitely have a huge game, but Dallas could still end up being close enough to with that 6.5
It
to
could 6.5 is a big number.
it is. I think it's too big for these teams, to be honest with you. I think it's too big. I think this should have been a little bit closer, maybe 4.5, maybe even 3.5. But I think this game is 6.5 is huge for this game, in my opinion.
Fantasy nugget for me this game is Matthew Golden. He's going to get in the end zone.
Okay. And
I'd say a guy, if you have him, start him is Ferguson for Dallas. That guy's gonna be a second guy in touches on that team, maybe first.
Yeah.
He was my guy coming in. He was my number one tight end coming in this year. I loved him.
So just as a reminder, Matt, you have no defensive touchdown pick, and we're down to our last two games. So keep thinking. Keep thinking. All right. Doubleheader Monday night. So we got the first game of Monday night is the New York Jets going down to the Miami Dolphins for a divisional game, and the Jets are going to get 2.5, and the over/under is set at 44.5.
Who's starting the quarterback for the Jets?
Good question. I'll tell you right now. It's Fields. He's good to go.
Yeah, Fields playing. My defensive score is going to be the Lions.
Okay. I'll mark it. Wow, Matt, me and you are going against each other in that game because I took Cleveland for a defensive touchdown.
I never did. That's why I went the Lions. Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, so
we're going to dominate our picks. We'll each get a defensive score. How about that? I'm going to shit on Mike.
All right, so Mike, go ahead. You asked about the quarterback. Go ahead and start it off.
You just told me who was going to win. I'm taking New York Jets. I've seen them running the ball all over Miami. So give me the Jets, and I'm going the under. I think Tua comes out, throws a couple picks. I think they shut down the Miami offense. And I think the Dolphins are packing it in sooner than later, fellas, and fighting for a number one spot. So
I love it. I'm anti-Miami. I know they're going to shit the bed, and they've been. I'll go, but that being said, I will take the Dolphins. Both teams are 0-3. Neither team is going anywhere. The Jets, they're going to blame it on injuries and inconsistent quarterback or whatever. Dolphins are just terrible, but they're good enough to beat the Jets, I think. And the Jets' offense has shown some signs. And Ollie Gordon, we mentioned it, the little rising star here for the Miami offense. A-Chain's still a major factor in the offense. I just think it's enough. I think Dolphins make enough plays, and for some reason, again, Breece Hall, looking at his lines, 40 carries so far, 157 yards. That's less than 4 yards a carry. My quick math. You haven't gotten him going. I'm on the Dolphins here, and 44.5. Give me the under. Dolphins in the under. Lay the points.
All right, I'll make it short and sweet. I like the fact that Fields is back on the Jets, and I think that we've had some pretty good primetime games, and this is another one that could potentially be good, even though they're two bad teams. I'm going to go the over.
the Jets and the over. Okay.
And we will do the last game, and then we will do our number one. So the last game, the second of our doubleheader Monday night games, is the Cincinnati Bengals getting 7.5 when they go to Mile High Stadium to take on the Denver Broncos. The over/under is set 44.5.
I'm taking the Broncos in the under. I think this is the beginning of the end for the Bengals. I think it's already, even though they're 2-1. They're not running the football well. Browning's turning the ball over. The Broncos defense is a little underperformed to this point, but I think they also have a big game today. They would have been my second choice for a defensive score, but Broncos for me in the under. Home's a tough place to play in Denver. I don't know, ugly game. 31-7, something like that. 31-10. It's going to be gross. Gross for Cincinnati. So, Broncos.
Matt, I agree. Broncos at home. Cincinnati, again, bad team. But the 44.5, again, I like the fact that these games are on that lately they've been good on prime time. So I think it's a blowout, but I think it's going to be over in points in 44.5. So I'm going to go Broncos. I'm going to go over.
Cute pick, guys. Cute pick. I'll take that 7.5 is too big for a Denver team that's struggling right now. Give me Cincinnati. They're struggling too. I think it's an ugly game. Give me Cincinnati under. I think Denver wins this game, but I think they keep it under. Maybe like 23-16, 23-17, something like that.
Well, I think we really picked every game different, Mike, which is all
Really?
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, even though it seemed like we picked a lot of games together, it was only 9.
Well,
And our highest so far has been 10. So, all right,
Okay.
let's get into our last one, and then we can get your college picks. And I think that's calling it a night. So,
yeah.
number one on your fantasy buy, sell, stay list. I'll go first on this one. Mine is pretty easy with a notion that they were going to come into the league and dominate this year because of all the additions and names that were brought in, and probably the most active they've ever been in seemingly franchise history. Again, maybe some may differ on opinion on that. I don't. I think it's been the most active in franchise history. But if you got them, get rid of them. Is the Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense. The only thing that saved them last week in terms of points was the fact that they had 5 turnovers. That's it. Other than that, giving up like 30 plus points a game, you're going to start owing points at the end of this. So if it wasn't for the fact that they had 5 turnovers, you wouldn't have gained any points late, in the last couple of weeks. Their first 2 weeks, they scored a total of 7 points. And last week, again, because of the turnovers, they had 16, and they kept them under, kept them under 20 points. So, I still don't believe this defense is going to figure it out for some reason. Again, we've talked about it in nauseum and how they're just so terrible on the run, and they get diced up, and it seems like they run a damn prevent on every freaking play, and they're running zone defense all the time that they can't get off the field on third downs too. So if you got them, get rid of them as fast as you can. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Yeah, I don't know about our team in general. I just think we stink. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Number 5 for me. Hey, this is pretty easy, I think, because of the injuries with Najee Harris. We talked about run scheme, even though to this point the Chargers are the number 2 in the league in throwing the ball. I think that regresses a little bit. I think as the season progresses, and maybe Hampton gets a little more comfortable now that he's forced to have to be more comfortable in the offense, I think he becomes more of the offense. So I think if you've been holding on to Hampton, he was really put in drafts. He was being taken, I've seen early in the 3rd or 4th round in most drafts that were coming in. So I have a share with him in one of my leagues. I was with him. He was a guy like Harvey that we thought was going to be, it was him and our guy too for the Steelers. We thought between these 2 running backs, they were going to emerge and take over the league, change to another one. Hampton's now got range, and I think he take advantage. So I'll take the confidence in the coach, the system, the good team, the good running back. Give me Hampton. I think he's definitely a guy that's going to be focused in the offense. 7 targets last week. I think he gets that this week again. You get a running back getting 7 targets. I'll take it every week fantasy-wise. That's a big point. So I like Omarion Hampton to be a top, probably 5-6 guy the rest of the way. We'll see how it plays out.
So I'm sticking with the same team here. You guys are probably going to both disagree with me. Lad McConkey, I'm selling. So far in the year, the guy has 21 targets, 15 catches for 163 yards, and no touchdowns. He's right now the Quentin Johnson is their deep threat. Keenan Allen is their
Who, by the way, couldn't catch a ball last year.
You're right. You're exactly right, and we're shocked about that.
Yeah.
Quentin Allen is their deep threat, and he's catching everything. Keenan Allen is their third down guy. They're go to the sticks, turn around, catch a ball. Lad McConkey is what is he right now? He's a third option on that team, and with the emergence of Hampton, if that's going to happen, him getting more targets out of the backfield. I just see McConkey's value sliding down from where he was drafted earlier in the year. This is a guy who was picked in the top 3 rounds in most fantasy drafts. So,
by the way, support your numbers here. Hampton last week only had 2 red zone targets. He had 8 coming in, so he was already getting the red zone targets before the Harris injury. McConkey has 1 red zone target.
That's what I'm saying. So right now,
11 combined between Allen and Johnson.
Yeah, I just if you have him, sell to me if you can get something good, because his name still will carry a lot of weight in trades, in my opinion. So to me, if you can deal him, there's some good running backs out there, some good wide receivers, and McConkey, to me, he's gonna be fighting all year for targets. And I just don't think his value is where people picked him. So that's my sell guy.
I think with the addition of Keenan Allen coming back, it really damaged him.
Big time. He took away the possession receiver part. You know what I mean? Big time.
Now they have a legit number 1 and 2 there. So
right.
Kind of you're kind of slotted into your third.
Right.
Being a slot guy or third wide receiver.
Unfortunately, last year he was the only guy who can catch on that team.
Well, they had Josh Palmer and they had Quentin Johnson, who couldn't catch a cold last year.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there's a distinction between fantasy and real life NFL. Obviously, fantasy wise, it hurts because we expected McConkey to be better. But in real life NFL, it's clear there's a reason why they're second in the league in pass attempts with that receiving room right now. Because we're knocking
the receiving room.
We're knocking Lad McConkey overall, but he's still a top flight receiver in this league, and will be for a very long time.
Right.
So we've got talent between Quentin Johnson's emergence, Keenan Allen's consistency, and Lad McConkey, who is technically the wild card. He created his value. We didn't, we assumed he was going to be a first or second round receiver, but that doesn't mean that's going to play out. So especially with the additions of Allen and other things, but overall, from an NFL perspective, the Chargers are doing this fine.
Talent-wise, the guy has talent galore, but right now they're using him as the third guy.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So they have their roles. Johnson's take the lid off the top. Allen's a possession guy, and what's the snap count, Matt? What's the target? What's the snap count for them, the Chargers, right now?
He's on McConkey's on the field the most still. He's on the field 93% of the time.
Wow.
Quentin Johnson's 87%, and Keenan Allen, again, he's not running every play. He's 65% consistent through the first 3 games. So, there are select packages for Keenan. Keenan's going to play 40 plays a game, 35 to 40 plays a game. So, but he's got his role. He's a third down guy. He's a guy they're going to have. He's going to be the guy he's looking for.
Right.
So, that's been the case so far.
Yeah.
Virginia.
It's for me, red zone targets tell a better story. And when you're last in the room, in the targets in the red zone, that tells me something. So, yeah.
As we transition to college football, Virginia just knocked out number 8 Florida State 46-38 and the second overtime.
Bam! Starting off the weekend good, fellas.
That's good. He's good.
So, with that being said, Matt, we need your picks for our slate of games on Saturday, which I'm going to give you right now. The noon o'clock game that we picked is number 21 USC versus number 23 Illinois, and USC is giving 6.5, and the over under is set at 60.5. So 6.5, 60.5.
Right.
Me and Mike both took USC. Mike took the over. I took the under. And real quick,
you know how I feel about getting the extra ask with Illinois. It's not going to help them this week. So give me USC and the over.
Okay. I was going to give you a little tidbit, but you don't need it because you picked the right one anyway. The little tidbit
USC scored 40 this week.
Well, the little tidbit was that Illinois' starting quarterback is out for the year with a torn Achilles.
Oh, ouch.
And USC is 11-2 all time against Illinois.
All right. Illinois.
Yep. 3:30 game is number 4 LSU going into number 13 Ole Miss. This is a pick 'em. LSU is getting a point and a half. The over under is set at 55.5. I took LSU. Mike took Ole Miss. I took the over. Mike took the under.
Ole Miss in the under. Didn't we? One of us have Ole Miss as our entrance song, as one of our top 5 entrance songs. I think we did.
I think you did.
No, I
Yeah,
think
I did. Yeah.
either you did or I had it as an honorable mention.
Yeah. All right. Give me Ole Miss and the under in this game.
So you're riding with Mike on this one all the way. Which, by the way, Mike last week on college picks was stellar. He was 4-0 in over unders. So I guess if you're gonna ride with him this week.
Wow.
7:30 game is a whiteout at Penn State. Number 6 Oregon goes to number 3 Penn State. Oregon is getting 3.5 points, and the over under is set at 51.5. Mike and I are on Oregon. I am on the over. Mike is on the under.
I'm changing mine. I've been thinking about this one all day.
Okay.
I'm taking Penn State. I'm taking Penn State.
You're taking Penn
So
State.
am I.
I am gonna stick with mine. And again, the only reason is because James Franklin is absolutely horrible against ranked teams.
0-14, Matt. Last 14 against top 10. So
I know. That's why I'm taking him. That's why I'm taking him. So we're gonna break the streak.
Oh, if you're thinking he's going to break the streak, I mean, a leopard doesn't change its spots, my friend. So
It doesn't. No, you're right. You're right.
Did you take the over under in that?
I'm going under. A bunch of athletes running around tackling people. Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I love to see it though. And the last one, number 17, Alabama is going into number 5, Georgia. The over under is set at 52.5. Alabama is getting 3.5. Mike took Bama. I took Georgia. We're both on the over.
I like Bama. I like Bama and the over in this game.
Bama and the over. So we're all riding on the over on this one. All right.
And you two took the same super dogs?
Yeah, that's crazy too. How did that happen too?
Yeah, so that's how this whole thing started, is that he took Oklahoma State, and I said, that's funny because I did as well, but I took him at 20.5, and he was going to get him at what, 17.5?
17.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm riding on the fact that I can't believe that
moved 3 points in 2 days. Wow.
Yeah, so something's up, but I'm going to take it where we took it at 20.5.
Yeah.
Because
you get it. He gets the same as you.
Yeah, because that there might be a reason why it went down, and we're gonna be lucky that we took it at 20.5.
You got that right.
I only need 19. So if you just want to give me 19, I'm good with that.
I have Utah State, Matt, getting 22.5 against Vanderbilt. That's my dog. That's my dog.
You just like picking schools that have presidents for their name.
So Matt, here you go. We talked about this last week. You weren't here for it, so we're going to talk about it now. You went 1-3 in college, and 1-3 in ATS, and 1-3 over under. Mike went 3-1 in ATS. Mike went 4-0 in over under. I went 3-1 in ATS and 2-2 in over under. College overall against the spread. You're at 29%. Mike is at 24%. Yes. I am at 26%. Overall over under, you are at 21%. Mike is at 38%, and I am at a whopping 12%.
That's winning percentages?
That's the winning percentage. Yes.
That's so bad. People can be making a fortune if they just do the opposite of what we say.
I know, right?
That's all.
I know, right? So college football overall, this is everything combined. Okay. So to date, okay, Matt, you are at 50%. Mike is at
that's good.
Yeah. Mike is at 59%. And I am at the lonely 38%.
Wow, you're good.
I'm doing a bang up job here.
Listen, I have an idea. Why don't we sell this totally different? We should just call our show the Financial Advisors. And that way, and what we do is we just put out the wrong information and people just go the opposite direction and set up their retirement accounts. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was going to say maybe we should do a double negative and say that we ain't no financial advisors.
I don't know, Jeff. The 38% is pretty strong. I'm just going to say it right now.
I'm just letting you know I'm a strong candidate to come in third. Okay.
Well, the pros, I mean, honestly, you guys follow college football a lot more than I do, so I'm throwing darts. But
apparently I don't. Apparently I don't.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, where are we at with the pros in terms of those numbers? You have those handy?
I sure do. And just so happen to have it right in front of me right now. So just this past week, Matt, you were 5-11 against the spread and
Strong.
10-6 over under.
Oh, good.
Mike was 10-6 against the spread and he was 8-8 over under. I was 5-11 against the spread and 6-10 over under. Seems to be a theme here. The overall spreads for NFL, you were at 44%. Me and Mike are tied at 52%. NFL over under. This is just over unders to date. Matt, you were at 54%. Mike is at 56%. I'm at 46%. So not terrible yet. I got time though. Overall NFL, you are at 49%. Mike is at 54%. I am tied with you at 49%. So that leaves us with overall football standings, which includes NFL and college. And you are at 49%. Mike is at 55%, and I am at 46%.
Well, that 46 is a lot better than that 38 that you had hanging on your numbers in the 38. So yeah, that's a big number. Did I hear you roll out a 12% from last week's picks for something? Did you say you were 12%? How is that possible?
Yes, I was 12%. College over under. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, college overall over under.
1-7. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Really good. So, all right. Well,
not only did I go 7-1 last week, but I won my super dog too.
Yeah,
you're still winning the super dog.
You were the only one to win last week, but Matt did so well the first week that he's still in the lead. And I'm waiting for something to catch fire over here.
Jazz is consistent. He is 0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
if you're going to be
Wagner last week let me down.
Hey, look,
big time.
Whether you're really good or really bad, just be consistent.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last. Remember that.
That's right.
Got it.
That's right. So, yeah, with that being said, does anybody have anything else, or are we done for the night?
I think we're good.
I think we covered most of it.
Okay.
Mike, send me your DK if you didn't already do so. I think that's about it.
All right. I will drop these picks into the preferred channels. So it doesn't look like anybody's trying to change anything.
I have some little numbers, some little stuff for you if you want to know now or once we get off, just for tomorrow's games. If you want to make a few bets, little small bets. I had Virginia getting 7 tonight, 7.5. Tomorrow I have Louisville over 56.5 tomorrow. Wake Forest plus 14. Ohio minus 7.5. USC minus 6.5. Central Florida, Kansas over 49.5, and Indy over 47. So
those are your picks.
Yes, sir.
Throw $5 on it and hope you hit them all, and you have a good weekend. So.
Well, considering that your picks seem to be a lot better than mine, I might take you up on that offer.
Yeah. Trust me.
I can just go the opposite. Go ahead, give me yours.
Yeah, I'm going to give you all mine so everybody can fade me. Yeah, just
That's it.
whatever you do, just fade me. You'll be fine.
Jazz, I got faith in you, brother. You're going to turn it around this
Hey.
week. You have to because you my picks. So
Let's go.
That's definitely going
Let's
Well,
go.
listen, if you guys are right, then I'm wrong. So
Yeah. Well, we'll find
it's
out.
gonna be interesting what happens because you both are on. You're probably on like
Yeah.
70% of the games.
You either
Close,
have
I'm
a
not sure.
64 game lead or we're tied.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do those numbers later to find out what me and Matt are on, and we'll see how terrible this is going to end up. So,
Yeah.
all right, gentlemen.
Hey, gentlemen.
Yep.
All right,
It
Frank.
sounds
Enjoy
like,
your weekend.
Your weekend too.
it sounds like a
9:30
good
game
time.
Sunday. So
Yep.
Yeah. there you go.
I'm
where you
making
at tomorrow,
breakfast.
Chaz?
Tomorrow we are doing our last home game, and we're playing Butler, and the whistle goes off at 10 a.m. So I got to be at the field at 8:30 in the morning. It's gonna be a
Are
long
they the
day.
Tornadoes? If I'm
Yes.
not mistaken, the Butler
Yes.
Tornadoes. Yeah, I thought so.
This is correct.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's
good
what we're
luck.
playing. Yep.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. Appreciate it. And so with that being said, thanks everybody for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and keep those notifications on so you know when we go live. And also check out our Discord. We post all kind of things in there, our picks and little tidbits every day. So check us out. And gentlemen, I'll see you on the other side.
All right. See you guys. Later. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
See ya.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right.
Yeah. No, we'll come